Alright, so I got a cutting tool, I got a bow for the bow drill, fireboard, and hopefully a spindle. Got this grapevine that I can hopefully use to make a container. Now I just need to see about finding a bearing block, a handhold. The mosquitoes are terrible today, but this big oak, this big branch fell. I think I can maybe use it for a bearing block. There's a knot right there. It's kind of rotted out inside. This should be nice and tough compared to that basswood spindle I'm going to make. So hopefully this will hold up. I don't know if that hole will work, but if anything I can just put one in here somewhere. Something to hold that spindle in place. And I'll grab some of these burdock leaves too, just as assurance for that bearing block. That's always my biggest obstacle, is having a frictionless bearing block so the thing doesn't bind up. So if anything, hopefully I can use these to ease the friction. Just wanted to get that started, then I can weave another one of these in here. I took a lot of grapevine. I had to go back and get more. I would have liked to brought that around, but ended up not being long enough. Let me get this in tighter here. Oh, there we go. There's a basket. Shows you why I appreciate the people that can make these baskets so well, because I can't. But hey, you know, I could throw some wild edibles in there, or some fish or something. There, I just weaved a branch from a high bush cranberry in there for a handle. It's got to have a handle. Put my rock in there. Put my bearing block in there. Put the burdock leaves I gathered in there. I think I'll trim these off. I'll see if I can tuck these back in, but I don't think they're gonna go. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's getting dark. I started about, I don't know, 6 o'clock, and it must be right about 8:30 now, because I think the sun just set. So it took me about 2.5 hours to gather all these materials and to make this basket. Yeah, see, those things just snap. I think that'll be good. Oh, this doesn't want to stay in now. It's got to be weaved in some more. There. Come on, you. There we go. Oh, that was a challenge right there. Hopefully the fire will be easier. Turtle shell. I might be able to use that for something, for a scooper, or maybe even to assist with the bow drill set. I'm taking that with me. Cottonwood bark. That'll make for some good tinder. Oh yeah. It's kind of damp. Hopefully it'll be dried out though by the time I get to where I'm going. I got quite a bit of a walk ahead of me. We had quite a bit of rain a couple days ago. Common evening primrose, that's wild edible. Not much, but maybe I can gather more along the way. That's just what I need to get my fire started. You can never be too prepared when it comes to fire, and that's the main thing I need, fire. I'm going to gather up some of these small, sharp rocks. I may be able to use those as a drill bit if I need it. I got that one big rock, but I don't know if it'll function very well for a drill bit. But these little pieces will. This basket's actually proven pretty handy. Alright, well, I'm here. This is going to be my little base camp, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to get set up over here in the shade and do a quick inventory. Make sure I have everything I need. I'll worry about getting a level piece of ground to work on later. I just want to make sure I got everything I need. Tinder for the fire, bow drill set, cordage on my hat, and I also have a little fish hook pinned in my hat. Got a bunch of small kindling and tinder, flash tinder, cottonwood bark, Phragmites reed, turtle shell, that burdock leaf in case I need that for lubrication for the bow drill socket. Some common evening primrose for a wild edible. My handhold for the bow drill. My cutting tool, my large cutting tool, kind of like a saw or an axe. And a bunch of small rocks for doing drilling or whatever else I might need. A bunch more cotton bark, and that's it. I'm going to take this cotton bark and sit it in the sun so it can dry out. Got a good breeze coming through here. Lots of sun. This stuff is definitely wet. I can really feel it now. It's not going to work for a tinder nest when it's all wet, so I just need to spread it out here on the sand, break it up a little bit. And while I'm preparing my bow drill set and fishing, this can all be getting dried out. They already sent out a search party for me. Now, I didn't even think of it before, but I'm going to take one of these burdock leaves and use that to put my wild edibles in, even though I don't have many. Keep them from getting all dirty. And keep them from getting all dried out too. I can always gather more of these later on if I want to. Just wrap those up. That way they'll stay nice and moist and won't get all full of sand and stuff. Alright guys, this isn't part of the challenge, but I think I'm going to take this turtle shell and make a digging tool with it. Plus, it would serve as a container. I could maybe put something in there and cook it over a fire, or use it to boil water possibly. But I'm going to take, and I'm just going to score and then I'm going to whack this and hopefully that'll bust right off. Yeah. Sweet, now I got a digging tool and a container to boil water in possibly. Alright guys, so what I did is I took this turtle shell and I dug out this bank, because all the way around this lake it's a fairly steep grade down to the water, and I need a nice level place to work. Plus I'm in the shade of this tree, so you know, essentially in this situation I just made my shelter. I have a level place to work and I have the shade of the tree. But I need to get started on this bow drill set, which is going to be the most challenging part of this whole task. And what I want to do with this is I want to make my set, get it all carved out, and then I'm going to try fishing, and hopefully I can catch a fish with that little fish hook, which is now stuck in my paracord. This is going to be my fireboard. I just want to score this. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to cheat at this task, because to me it's all about the challenge of doing this without a knife, and really, you know, just with my own bare 2 hands. I think it's a cool challenge. I just found out about it 3 days ago, and it ends the end of this month, August. So that's going to be my fireboard. And let's see. Well, let's see what I can do here. Trying to see if I can actually split this board. I don't really need to. But it would be nice if I could. I had to go get another rock, something to work on. But you see, I got that flattened out pretty good. I'm just gonna get rid of this bark because it's wet. It's gonna hold moisture, and I want this set to be nice and dry. And make me some little tinder while I'm at it. One nice thing about basswood, it has those fibers which you can use for making a tinder nest as well. Didn't really plan that, but that's the way it's turning out. Alright, so now you can see how I'm going to do that. There, nice little bundle of tinder. This is going to be my spindle. I couldn't find a very straight piece, so hopefully this will be good enough. And again, I'm just going to score it at both ends and break it off. There we go. Now the only reason I scored that is because I want to make sure that I have this whole length and I don't get any breaks like I did right there, because I need as much straight length as possible for this set. I just want to show you the process. I know Sarge really wanted to see the process of this, and I'm doing the best I can, but I have to reserve my batteries too, or I won't be able to get the whole thing on film. See, I'm just taking that stick cross grain. I tried this, you know, a couple days ago and failed miserably, so I've kind of learned from my mistakes a little bit. Got a really rough rock. I take this stick across it cross grain, and it removes that material much easier. Before I was going like this and it just wasn't cutting it. But hopefully you can see I got a pretty good point on that end now. I just need to round off this end a little bit, flatten it out first. And then I'll round it off. And my bow drill set will be complete, because that'll be my spindle, my bearing block, handhold, and my bow, and the bowstring cordage. Alright, I'm getting my bow ready, and I figured I'd just show you this. I just grabbed another rock as a hammerstone. It was just, you know, laying around here. And I took this and I scored around here. This is going to be the handle for my bow drill, but I don't want this sticking out and getting in the way. I want to make this set as good as possible so I'll have the best chance of getting fire when it comes time to. I'd rather take the time now and do everything as right as possible with the tools I have. That way when it comes time to make fire, I'll have a better chance at success. Okay, so I got my bow all rigged up. I just tied a knot at this end and used that little fork to kind of hold it. And then down at this end, I just kind of wrapped it around, and I cut a little groove in here with that rock just to kind of line my string, and then just kind of went around it and made a knot of some sort to hold it. My spindle can go in there, and that's that. But I still need to do a little work on this spindle, and I think I already showed this process, but I want to remove this outer bark at least up to this point. And my hands are already getting tired. But that's what I'm going to do, you know, I'm just going to go around, get all that outer bark off, get it down to bare wood, and then what I'll do is I'll take my whole set, well, I'll take my spindle and my fireboard and I'll sit them in the sun too, and let them dry and bake in the sun while I'm fishing. That way when I come back to make fire, hopefully everything will be good and dry. And like I said, I'm trying to reserve my batteries, but I do think it's important to show this part. You know, my hands are getting tired, so it's getting harder to do this. I'm just taking this rock and I'm going around and getting down to the bare wood on my spindle where it's going to meet the fireboard. And the only reason I'm doing that is because this outer bark and fibers is moist, and it's going to make it difficult to get a fire when that's moist. I want to get this bark off so I can sit it in the sun, give it an hour or two to dry out while I'm fishing, and also give my hands an hour or two to chill out after doing all this caveman work, so I'll be up to strength and hopefully can get a fire. That's pretty much it though. And like I said before, I'll just take it on here and just kind of round it off a little bit. Don't need a lot on this end. This end you can see I've cleaned it up real good. I did it on this, it was nice and rough, and then I took it back on this rock, which is smooth, and just kind of polished it up, because I don't want this end to wear away. I want it to stay as good as possible. So I got a nice point on that end and a nice round on this end. Sit that in the sun, and hopefully in a couple hours I'll have fire. I figured I'd just show you. I got my spindle, my fireboard, and then either a backup fireboard or a piece to catch my ember sitting here in the sun, along with all that cottonwood bark and Phragmites reed and my tinder, my kindling. Let it all dry in the sun, and I'm gonna head around the lake here and see if I can't find some a fishing pole. Alright guys, I'm gonna head around the lake, and while I'm going, you know, I'm looking for resources. Here's a nice thin flake that actually looks like a very thin piece of chert. I can use that as a blade to clean a fish, scale a fish, so we'll pocket that. And I'm also going to be looking for feathers, or maybe some animal fur that I can tie onto that little fish hook to make a fly, or some kind of bait. But as you can see, it's a pretty dry area that I'm in. I'm not likely to find any worms, maybe a grasshopper, or an ant. We'll just make our way around this pond and let's see. This might make a good fishing pole right here. It's a pretty steep bank here, but I want to try and show you guys the process here. I know Sarge wants to see it. So I'll use my little primitive axe. And just so you know, this is autumn olive. It's an invasive species, so I'm not destroying the environment here. There we go. That'll make a good fishing pole. Don't need much. I kind of lucked out with this rock. When I came out and tried this the other day, I couldn't find any good rocks, man. It really did me in. I think I'll keep that like that for now. Alright guys, here's a little feather. Looks like it's from a blackbird. I may be able to rig that onto the hook to look like a little cricket or something. Use it for bait. I got that feather as backup, but since I got this digging tool, there's a cottonwood right here, and there's a bunch of leaves and debris. They always shed a lot of leaves and twigs. I'll just dig down in here, and if I'm going to find any worms, this is probably the most likely spot, because it's the only rich dirt around. It doesn't look like it though. Any kind of bug, really. I may just have to resort to making an artificial lure. Now I could make a trap and trap the fish, but that really wouldn't be legal here. So I'm kind of stuck using a fishing pole in order to be legal. Now I'm down to hard rock already. Nothing in there. Oh well. Time to get my fishing pole rigged up. Alright, what I need to do, this is that piece of paracord that I'm using for my bowstring. But I melted the ends, so I need to cut through that. There we go. Do the same to the other end. I'm going to need this paracord for my bow drill, so I just want to pull one strand out. I think it's still held in at this end. And trying to get that camera position where you guys can see what I'm doing is a bit tricky, but I'm just putting my foot on the one end, and then I'm going to pull the strand out with the other. There we go. Now I'm going to have to split this strand in two to make it thin enough to go through the eye of that hook. I don't really need to, but that's what I'm going to do. Now the one reason for doing this is so it'll fit through the eye of the hook, but you can see each strand of paracord is actually 2 strands that are twisted. But by separating this, I'll have twice the length of fishing line, plus it'll be thinner and it'll be a little bit better for the kind of fishing I'm going to be doing. I just need to unravel it. Okay, I think this is important to show. When you unravel these, they're going to be all twisted up and it's going to be kind of hard to unravel, but if you just slowly pull that apart and let the tag end go in the wind, the 2 pieces will separate and you'll have 2 pieces that are all twisted up like this. Now if you just slowly work that like this, it will untwist and it'll end up being like this, nice and straight. But you got to take it easy when you're separating those 2 strands, and you got to take it easy when you're untwisting it, because if you don't, you'll just end up with a tangled mess and you'll have to start all over with another piece of your precious paracord. Alright, so I got my hook on there. Now this hook, the eye is so small that I can only fit that string through there one time if I'm lucky. So I can't get fancy with the knot. I just did 2 double overhand knots to hold it on there. But I want to trim this excess off. There we go. And I just took that leftover piece of paracord strand, did a double overhand knot on the end of the hook where the point is, and I'm just going to take it and trim it off to about 1/4 inch. And now what I can do is fluff that up, and that'll be my bait. Okay, so before I get to fishing, I'm going to have to dig a hole here because I want a place to store my fish and keep them alive until I'm ready to eat them. I'll just use that turtle shell to dig it out. And you see I got a nice little seep right next to the water's edge that can store water. You know, I can use the sand to filter the water somewhat into there, and then also I can use that to store my fish as I catch them, and they'll stay alive and well in there for quite a long time, maybe for days. You know, if I catch a whole bunch, I can stick 5-10 in there and eat them at my leisure rather than have them spoil on me or something, or have to eat them all at once. Now, I had one with that first cast, but they're wise to this paracord now, so I'm going to need some real bait. Well, here's bait, guys. Oh, maybe not. There's some food right there, cattail. But I'm after this crawdad. There he is. And if that don't work, there's a little frog right there. Oh, he just took off. Take that crawdad that I caught. Just kind of tear him open. Now we got bait. There's a fish. It ain't much, but it's a fish. I'll try for a couple more. All that's out here is some little bluegills and some small bass. There it is. We'll eat him up if we can't find anything else. Put him in there for safekeeping. I think I'll take my bait and my hook and pole around the pond and see if I can't get something bigger. I already caught a fish, but I want to see if I can get something bigger. I put a little bobber on there just to give it some weight. Yeah, there we go. Nice little pumpkin seed. That's much better. Yeah, that's worth eating. See if I can't get another. Alright, I got two fish in a live well here. One there and one hiding up under there. I could use those for bait, pieces of them, but I'm going to take what's left of this crawdad tail and see if I can't hook into one of them bigger bass. Now the reason I didn't do this to start is because this paracord, that's a half of a strand of an inner strand of paracord, so it's not very strong. And because I got this weak fishing rod, you know, I didn't want to risk hooking into a bass and losing my only fish hook. So I figured I'd get two little fish and then I'll go for the big one. Alright, we're going to work on the fire now and hopefully we'll get it. Just going to take that rock and drill me a hole, a start for the socket. I know this is probably what the part Sarge might want to see the most, so I'm probably not going to do a whole lot of editing on this one. Just take it straight on through. Oh, my spindle's good and dried out from earlier. My hand hold, I'm going to go ahead and stuff some of that burdock leaf down in there like I told you I was going to do. Just hopefully keep it lubricated. To me, this is the most challenging part because crafting all of this materials with just a rock, it's kind of difficult. I'm a little bit out of practice on this too. I don't think I've made a friction fire since probably over the winter, I would think. Well, she's smoking good, so hopefully we'll have some luck here. Get all that stuff back in there. I'll bring you in closer to cut the notch, let you see that. Hope that's in focus for you. I'm going to put my notch on the back side because that seems to be where it's wanting to go. That's going to do it. I don't want to risk going in too far. I don't want that. Yes. Everything's riding on this right here. If I don't get fire, I'm out of luck. I hope that's an ember. Man, I hope that's an ember. All that green stuff was wanting to fall right in it. Whew. Yeah, I got an ember. Let me bring you in close. To get it in a tinder nest. My batteries are about to die. More worried about my batteries dying than anything else. bring this baby to flame. Yes. Whew. That's the first time I ever did that, all primitive like. But I better not be screwing around. Get my kindling on there. I'm not going to use it all, just in case. Yes. Oh man. Did not think I was going to be able to do that. And my batteries are still going. Whew. I just got to cook up them fish. Sorry about that. Had to go wash off my knife. It's going to be hard to get in the camera for you guys. Just need to scale them. I'm not going to be filleting these fish out. Scale them and gut them. This little rock actually does a real good job of scaling too. I normally don't scale my fish, so this is something kind of new to me. I usually just fillet them. I hope you guys can see that well. Just gonna go give him a quick rinse along with my rock. No need to be eating scales. Let's go ahead. Open them up. Reach right in there and pull that back. Get right a hold of all the gills. And everything. Pull it all right down and out. There we go. Cleaned up, ready to eat. I don't believe in killing stuff if I'm not going to eat it or use it. Like in the case of that crawdad, I used it for bait. And this fish is really small, but I don't think he was going to make it. So, even though I made that little live well for him, you know, it's not the ideal live well. He was still pretty frisky, but might as well eat him up. Make a meal out of it. I got this other one here. Now technically I wouldn't even need this tool to cut the fish up. I could just do it with my hands, but you know, I know Sarge wanted to see he specified using the tool, so just want to stick with the challenge. There you go, another one ready for the fire. Starting to get a nice bed of coals there. I better put a few more pieces of wood on there though. Not a lot in the way of hardwoods where I'm at. It's all cottonwood, and I did find some black locusts, so that's what I'll be using for my hardwood. Try and get some coals if I can. Cottonwood kind of just burns right up to nothing. That's my fishing pole. I'm just going to use it to cook the fish. Pretty hot by the fire. Turned out to be a pretty warm day. I got out here about 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning, I think it was. And I believe it's probably about 6:30 right now. So, been out here for quite a while. I'll let that die down just a little bit, and I'm just going to wedge this into the ground. Like that. Use my cutting tool to sit on the back side of that. My basket on the front to kind of hold it up over the fire. Just let those cook nice and slow. It's gonna be some good eating, man. Those little bluegills, but they'll taste real good. There they be. If that fire doesn't die down quick, I'm gonna have to pull them off there or they're gonna burn. Doesn't take fish long to cook at all. I'd say this is the first time I've actually cooked fish over an open fire in quite a few years now. I used to go up north, I'd say every weekend, and every other weekend and do it, but just haven't had the money to do it lately. It's actually nice to be able to get out and do this. Water's not part of the challenge, but I need a drink after all that. That was one heck of a challenge, Sarge. My goodness. I don't want you guys to think this was easy. I mean, everything went pretty good today. I got that ember pretty easily. It was a lot of work, though, that's for sure. Just trying to carve these materials out with a rock. And I'll show you the reason I was hoping that ember took, because my fireboard was starting to split. It's got a split right down, and if I had went any further, I'd have burned right through it. So it was kind of a one-shot deal, and if not, I would have had to start all over. I'd give these guys a turn. Looks like they're close to done. Just got to give them a little heat on that side and they'll be ready. That fire's pretty hot, even from this distance. Just want to show you what they look like on the side that they've already been cooked on. My common evening primrose buds that I gathered. I think I'll eat those while I wait for that fish. I think this should be about ready. I guess I'll get my table ready. I just got my old cutting tool / everything tool. Take these burdock leaves that I gathered, just kind of lay them down as a placemat just to keep the sand off of my fish. Let's see if they're done. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're done. Yeah, they're done all right. Don't want any fins in there. Oh, it's hot. I have to let it cool off a minute. While those fish are cooling off, I want to just do a little experiment while I'm out here. Put this turtle shell with some water, woo, in the fire there, and see if I can boil water in that turtle shell. I can't fit a lot of water in there, but it's more or less just a test. Let's say I find a much bigger turtle shell, like a box turtle or something. Then, you know, that's always an option. It's always good to test this stuff out when you're not in need of it. That way when the day comes you do need it, you'll be prepared. Looks like it's already starting to boil. Get a little more fire under it and it definitely will. Well, she's boiling now. That flame's in the way. I think you can hear it boiling though. You can see it boiling now, I think. Cool. There's an option. It's hard to find a container in the wild that you can just straight up boil water in over a fire, so there you go, turtle shell. See if I can fish it out of there with this stick. Whoa! Kind of burnt my turtle shell all up. I don't know if it's going to work as a shovel anymore, but I'm going to keep it. Well, let's go ahead and eat these fish. That's just bones and scales there. Cheeks. Tastes good. Alright, well, I think that's going to wrap it up. I don't know if I'll win the knife. I don't even know if I'll be able to get this video uploaded. It's probably going to be so long. But just want to say thanks to Sarge. Thanks for putting this contest on. Thanks for starting this challenge. I think it's probably got to be the coolest challenge I've seen on YouTube to really put your skills to the test. You know, I come out 2 days ago, I tried this and just didn't happen for me. but I wasn't about to give up. And for me, you know, it's more about the challenge itself than the knife. If I can't get this video edited in time for the contest, I'm still going to post it. But anyway, it's been a long enough video. I'm just going to say thanks, Derek. Thanks, Sarge. With fish parts all over my hands. Thanks for starting the challenge and putting up that nice knife. I mean, that's a real nice knife. And just say thanks to everyone else. Thanks for watching, and you know, like always, thanks for all the comments and support. Talk to you guys later. Waste not, want not. There, clean as a whistle. I gotta bury up that fire, let it die down, but I want to show you guys what happened to that turtle shell. I went to wash it off, and it's basically just a piece of charcoal. But I think if you had a deeper turtle shell that was quite full of water, you probably wouldn't have that issue. At least, you know, if anything, you'd get one good boil out of it. Talk to you guys later. That's it, it's all cleaned up. Can't even tell I was here. Filled in that hole as well. I just gotta get on out of here with my basket and all. This basket held up real good, up and down hills, through the brush, down the trails. Anyway, thanks again, Derek, Sarge, for putting on this challenge. I hope I win that knife, but if I don't, I'll understand, because whoever entered this and whoever even attempted it, I gotta say my hat's off to you, because it was a tough challenge, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks Sarge, and thanks everybody for watching, and like I said, thanks for all the comments and support. Talk to you guys later.